should be live. All right, there we go. Okay, cool. Very nice. So I'll just reiterate what I'm doing again for people coming from YouTube. So I am going to build a um or I'm building a mini order checkout system. So essentially what this is, simulating the process of going to like Safeway or Walmart, scanning something, you know, tells you to pay, you put in your card, it takes it, gives you a receipt, and you go home. But like the back end of that, I'm trying to simulate it with OOP. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I also want to get better at C sharp. So that's why I'm doing this. I also have limitations, so I can't obviously use AI because I want to test how much I actually really know this stuff. And if there's any Google searching, it's strictly syntax and not like how to like do stuff, you know. And it's like, okay, like for example, I come from like a Python oriented world. So it'd be like, okay, what is the C sharp equivalent of a dictionary? What is the C sharp equivalent of super? Like for example, you want to inherit a class, stuff like that. So yeah. So this is the expected deliverable. So you must have obviously the core parts of the program, which is that's the OOP fashion, must follow encapsulation alongside with not necessarily polymorphism, but abstraction should be there too as well. So obviously public and private layers in your class. There must be an underlying interface. So there's like an actual interface in C sharp. And then also an interface for someone to interact with the program. This is going to be a console application, by the way, not like a big GUI or anything. There must be a custom exception implemented in the workflow. So like there must be a user-specified error, which is how we'll be building that. So, for example, in this, to show that an item is blocked, so after like you check out, they'll be like, okay, we'll figure out the name later, but like, oh, you can't use this after we've checked out. So, yeah. So far, I've also just been planning because one of the things I want to be practicing this year is like extensive planning before I write any single line of code. So I've been doing that like this here. So for example, you know, what is the so I boiled it down to okay, what's the core part of the program? Definitely have to have interactions between a customer and the ordering system, right? So the two core parts of the program are customer and the order. So what is a customer? Like what does a customer look like? So obviously customer should have a name, a form of ID, the cart to see, you know, future items for a potential order. So it's like having a cart, some form of payment method, history of previous orders. I'm personally going for like a reference to that rather than actually storing the data entity itself in the class. I think that would be a little bit easy. Yeah. Okay. Is she not upstairs? She's not? The date created and yeah. So another thing I'm also working on is the order schema. So name, ID, list of items, which is going to be like the things in the cart, date type object, or you know when you get that order in reference to a customer. And then I'm working on the other things that I put in here. So yeah, that's kind of where I stopped right now. Okay, so I know that was a lot of info, but I just wanted to give you guys a there. Okay, so provider names. If like your payment service, they're gonna create payment service when you're probably gonna be using your card. if you're able to have like a provided name, it could be MasterCard or like Visa, right? Um, let's say account number. And like production, obviously you would want to encrypt this from like at some layer. But right now, we'll worry about that later because that's the like production or not put it into full scale. A PIN number, a PIN. So I'm trying to think in a payment service, what else? Status, right? So that's if it actually went or not. So, right. Status is going to be important. So we have the provider name, the account number, the PIN, status, receipt. Would we need a receipt at this level, or will we need it at the order level? It's a good question. Because the payment service technically shouldn't have info on what we're ordering. It should just be the place where money is being transferred, right? So I think it makes more sense if the receipt is at the order level, like the order scheme level. So I think I put that there. And we'll probably represent, that'll be a list of items. So it should just be technically just a string, or not a string, sorry, a list of strings, because it's like a list of all the item names, right? So, or we could actually get the receipt. No, 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 no. We're tying it too much to items. So we'll just get, I think, a string, a list of strings. Okay. Strings. Uh, and that would be item names. Okay, what else do we need to write on? So we have payment service down. Obviously, every other thing is a permitted data type. So now we can go into what a product schema looks like. Okay, so let me represent this in words. So check it out on YouTube. Okay, whatever, okay. Oh, oh, that's probably me. Uh, yeah, okay. So this is going to look like the program. So it's going to be string. Account number. That'll just be a list of numbers, right? So not a list, like a string of numbers. Actually, this should be more like a string of numbers, or should it be? Could look you make it just a character list. You could make it a character list. There's a reason. The reason why is I just think, um, you know how like I don't know. When I think of things like this, I think like they check it character by character when it comes to like account numbers rather than like just a string. So I just feel like it'll be better. And I think well, you know, so a characters are what 2 bytes, and I think strings are take more weight, I believe. So I think that'll be helpful. Let's actually ask Google. Um, Google what side it has text for string, during structure, that's what it's going to be. Segmented, varchar text, database and string and programming. You know what? I think that's too much hand holding. I think it's a bit too much hand holding. We'll go with this for now. Could be string, sure. A pin could also be okay. I think if anything, maybe this should be a string or stand on business, and let's go with both the R and status. Status is going to be Boolean, right? Or we could have our own like enum, right? We could have an enum. We could. I will say true being, successful, false being it's not successful, right? So it definitely makes more sense to be we could represent it as an enum, but I don't know how to represent enums in C#. So I guess that's like a good question. Oh. I guess it's pretty much straightforward. Enum this. Okay, and then you can assign it to that. So enum non-zero is supposed to be this. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Okay. We have to make it an enum. We'll call it status. Status. And then let's just quickly do status. Status is going to be an enum. So it just be processed, processing, and declined, right? Or would it be successful, processing, and declined? Let's do that. Or status says process declined. Right. Or it's going to be, I'm sorry, it's going to be, process equals to 1. So it was like commas right there. Process equals to 1. Processing equals to 0. Declined What's the password? The yeah, great. Check. Yeah, okay. That seems good. Seems good enough. Fit. What else? We have almost. We need products. That's the only thing. We're good. Okay, so let's do products. Product or items. Yeah, we also need items. Okay. Which is a product, yeah, my bad. Okay. Products. Product. So list of items. So product. Which let's see. Product name. Uh, we have a product name. Should have a manufacturer name. Product name, manufacturer name. We have like price, unit price, right? Price. Right, shit, that's what it is. Unit price, yeah. Unit price. We should have manufacturer, so product name, manufacturer name, dates created. Um, actual date expired. Depends. We have the metadata like size, those things. So it just depends on the kind of product. I'll just call this meta. So instead of me putting that there, I'll just metadata. The metadata would be like a string of things. Yeah. So yeah, to be like product specific things. Or, you could for now, since like we obviously don't want to like go too crazy, just keep it that way. I was like in a situation where okay, obviously product is like could potentially even be like an interface, and then you have little things, that's in there. Or maybe just a parent class and then every other class inherits from that. Um, I think that might even be low key better for iPod. If it was an interface, right? Hmm, nah, I'm thinking too much into because okay, if it was like an interface, then well, okay, what are the common things? It needs a name, manufacturer, price, when date created, right? And then you could then have extra things inside. All right. If it was it's like a parent class, and every other class. Mm, um, mm, that's a good design question. Whether they get an interface or a parent class and then other products inherit from that. Um, I will say, I'm just checking what if, um, here's the base keyword. So, super the name, Japan, how's this, super agree, yeah, so this is like parents is a virtual function. Yeah, we have a virtual function called greets, and this method greets. Okay, so you can do that. And just call it base. Um, in C sharp. Uh, uh, properties. To be expected. Class. Let me see. Okay. So okay, you can have that. Okay. I think we should go for an interface when it comes to product. I think we should go for an interface when it comes to product. I think I'm looking leaning towards that. Okay. I think we'll use that then. All right. I know that. Um. So our product is actually going to be an interface. Sure, probably, and then underlying product to then have extra attributes. So, so, okay, I think okay, schema wise, I think we're doing fine. So now let's just create this different like stuff and then we'll move on from there. So let's get started. First thing we're obviously creating is our customer class. Yes, inside our customer class. This is going to be so. So this is customer should have name, ID, part, yeah, cool. Yeah, so that type of user forget. Yeah, so thing. You want to get a set up? Oh, a private set. Only get um maybe a private set. Most more restricted than oh okay, so you can what the heck? I'm pretty sure you can have to make it private here. What they're saying? Yeah, I guess, yeah, we could just make it, yeah, we could actually just make it private. I think that makes more sense. Yeah. What's the point of, what's the point of making it private? Let's actually really think about that. What's the point of making it full name private? Then you just, no, there's no point of making it private. I want to make it, I want it to be like, it's easy to get for hard to set. Let me show you the video private set. Sure. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I just needed to ensure that it's over here. Makes sense. Okay, ID. So we need an ID. The ID is gonna be private. That one we need it to be private. So, custom. So it's already private, so it's not you're gonna need to do that. Defined. Oh yeah, we didn't define what a cart would look like. A cart should literally just be a list of. Okay, no, we actually need to. Yeah, okay, we didn't define what a cart is. Okay, so let's do that again. Carts. Actually, list of items. Products. Um, Accounts. Check that one again. Duplicates item. Add item. Yeah, delete item, add item. You should also have reference to the user. So you can pick a custom ID. What you call it? Total. Usually total and because you need to apply tax or what do you call your tax somewhere, right? I mean, obviously you can add tax in the payment service here. Do we have the payment service? No, after the payment service is handling money. Yeah, so tax card should be the white tax thing here. Yeah. Um. So I guess maybe like tax additions. We'll just make it like I don't know, like 10% or something. Or we could actually just make a range. Hey, let's make it for maintenance. 2%. 7%. We'll be surprised on what tax we get. That'll be fun. Okay. Yeah, or not. Maybe it should be linked to an account. The cost should be linked to an account. So I'm just thinking, where's the customer ID? Orders. Functions. Some functions. Let's go to methods. So we're gonna say checkout deployed. We'll work on this later. I probably see anything. We could do a list of items to checkouts and because you don't necessarily check out everything you're targeting anyway. Yeah. So I want to see 10 counts because you don't necessarily check out every single thing in your cards. Okay. So list of things to okay. Delete item. Let me see here. So necessarily have to be one at a time. Yeah. Yes. And then tax. Maybe just let's call it add tax or something. Actually, no. To return just call it add tax. Yeah, just random ID. That's it. Very cool. Nice. Okay, let's go back to our customer section here. Build a cart right here. So for now, obviously, I'm gonna shop at us. It's fine. Yeah, you shop at us. It's fine. So cart. Let's call it cart. Oh yeah, we need to get us a no. Let's be private for sure. Right. Okay, of course, it's payment service, and this is also going to be screwed enough as for now. It will come to you. It's also going to be private. Payment service. We're going to call this pay. And then order, sorry. Which is actually just going to be a list of order items. Then we could have a different function that processes it. So that the customer layer is not like data heavy. A bit of latency. Maybe we want to run for latency or availability. I don't know. Data intensive. We'll figure it out. No, that's reference. And do we want orders? Orders to be protected. Does C# have a protected? Yeah, C# is exactly the same. But the thing is, though, who's gonna be, you know what I mean? I'll be back, guys.